A word on Prendergast's performance, and then give us a word on Crowley off the bench.
Yeah, I thought Prendergast was good, did lots of good things, some very good things, line kicking, spirals. I thought he wasn't as aggressive in the way he carried the ball as we saw, in the last two outings. That's a number of factors playing against better sides. More pressure. I thought he stand and delivered a little bit. When he did move forward with the ball and have the ball cocked and ready to deliver the pass, I thought he looked excellent. So, listen, he's very early in his development. Yeah. I mentioned it before, and this Game of Thrones that is developing for the number 10 shirt. I don't think we're that much further on, actually. We know that I don't think, it's Prendergast starting immediately in the Six Nations. I don't think it's Crowley necessarily starting immediately in the Six Nations. And actually, where does Frawley come into the mix here in terms of Leinster? So there's actually this period of club rugby between now and the end of January is going to be very interesting. And that may be...
Who is going to start at 10?
Well, we talk about Prendergast being picked not necessarily on form for this game. It was part of a broader picture. I think what we will see now is whoever gets picked at 10 will be the best 10 over the next 2 months.
Yep.
And what power does Andy Farrell have over who Leinster pick at 10?
No, I don't think he's any power
Zilch.
at all.
Zilch.
Yeah.
Not even a soft power. Leo, do me a favour.
No, because Leo's going to pick the 10 that he wants to pick. And, you could argue that Jack should have a little bit of a headway going into the Six Nations because Munster's guaranteed number 110. He's going to be playing week in, week out. But Munster are having their own issues at the moment. So what sort of team and club is he going to go back to for the next few months? And then Frawley and Prendergast are going to be fighting it out for a battle.
Who do you think Leo fancies?
Oh, Geordie Barrett. Sorry, Leo. Sorry, mate.
Well,
you'll get the question Monday. I'm only joking.
That would irritate the area if you and Andy Farrell, if Barrett's playing and the two boys aren't.
You'd have to imagine that in his contract coming over that there might be a little T&C at the bottom of it regarding the number 10 position.
So who do you think of the Irish available players?
I think
Cullen likes.
I think probably Frawley. We've got... we're straight back into European Cup next weekend, so there's not a huge amount of time for...
So where does that leave Simon Easterby if Frawley plays the majority of the big games for Leinster at 10, Crowley does his thing for Munster, Prendergast doesn't get much time, and England roll into 10?
In a quandary.
Does a bit, though.
Yeah, big issue.
In fairness, there's a lot of if, buts and maybes there. What Andy Farrell has done for Easterby, and I think he will be thankful of this, is he has given him the opportunity to pick Prendergast at 10 in the Six Nations if he wants to.
Absolutely.
If he didn't play this game, I don't think it's a viable option, to be honest with you. And then it's I think Farrell is then is thinking, well, when do we see Prendergast potentially? But what you've got is a really interesting dynamic in Leinster where I agree. I think Frawley's going to be still number 1. And it's the point we made before the game. You don't really want two 10s, even in Leinster, really vying with each other. You want someone saying, I'm number 1 and you're number 2. Prendergast isn't going to accept that. And the problem is, Frawley will need to play at a extraordinarily high level all the time.
Yeah.
In order to do that, you have one dip and you go, oh, listen, you get your chance. Yeah. It's not really about that in 10, and that's tricky.
No, it's fair. And sorry, just put a bow on your point then. I asked you about Crowley as well when he came on.
I thought Crowley was good.
Yeah.
I think from his very first touch, I think he took that nice drifted outside break ball, a couple of nice kicks, reacted very well. To be honest with you, it's how I expected him to react. He's a very mentally resilient guy. He's a quality player. I think it was nice of him. I was very good for him to have done what he did.
Yes.
Because it's like, hang on, don't dismiss me here. I've got some miles on the clock. I've got some goodwill, and I'm still the number 1. And I think he probably is number 1.
Sean, I think there's a couple of points in that. Crowley came on angry, and that's what you want. And that's what I was saying before the game. You want competition like that. And I take the boys' points. You don't want two guys, but you want a reaction. Bob Dwyer, the World Cup winning coach in Australia, said sometimes the best thing for a first grader is to put him in second grade. So they get angry.
They both seem to have the mentality to handle this dynamic.
Well, I would just say this about Prendergast, and please, I am not talking against him and saying what he needs to add. I think he needs to add more physicality to his game. Now, we don't want a 10 that's going out there and playing like a 7. That's not his job. But he has to show more physicality for me to say he is ready to start a Six Nations
Is
game.
tackling you're talking about?
Tackling and just
how he carries himself into
absolutely,
contact,
Rob.
bring it into contact. And,
Yes.
and Jack is strong in contact,
100%.
and he's strong in defence.
100%.
And that, Prendergast still quite light. Probably over the next year or two, we'll get a lot more bulk and muscle onto him, and then maybe that might have more of an impact. He might be more confident in the tackle, in that general collision area.
And that gives you confidence too, doesn't it, Rob? Confidence in the contact too. I agree. I think he needs 5 or 7 kegs on him of good weight, and that's also confidence, isn't it? Self-belief. You feel comfortable in the environment. Because the kid's got 1 game in 20 minutes under his belt.
Yeah, he hasn't played much men's rugby.
that's
He hasn't
exactly
played much
right.
men's rugby,
true.
and that's a big thing.
Yeah.